get into this now. The Eastern Cape Education Department has been accused of being silent about the conditions of Ikhwezi Lokusa Special School in Mthatha. A carte blanche expose in September revealing that the school is operating without running water and that children are sleeping on brick slab beds. Let's speak now to the Eastern Cape Education spokesperson, Vuyiseka Mboxela, who joins us now. Ms. Mboxela, thank you very much for your time. Let's begin with what the Education Department is aware of as to the conditions of Ikhwezi Lokusa. Based on your assessment, is that school fit for children who are physically and intellectually challenged?
Thank you very much, Xoli, and good morning to the viewers of Newzroom Afrika. First and foremost, Xoli, we know the state of all our schools in the province, different as they are, and we know the total number of schools that we categorize as special schools. And also that school is known by the department. And that is why even as I'm talking to you, I bounce out of a meeting that is being chaired by the HOD to try to resolve the state of that school. But I think, Xoli, what we must really take to the public and it be known is that that school is a school that is operating in a private residence. And as it and when it has to be upgraded, the first critical thing that needs to be done is to make sure that the school belongs to the department, which then is not an easy thing because it needs a legal process. Currently, we've got our own learners there, that which the department now is contemplating to move them out of that environment to schools that are being owned by government, because the assessment that was done there by people of infrastructure and also a private assessment person, they arrived at a price that is close to 16 million to just demolish beds. And what then becomes a problem for the government is to upgrade a institution that we know for a fact that it is not ours, because that is an institution that is under the Catholic Church, and it is not under our own legal jurisdiction. We're just renting there. So that is the reality and the fact that is before us. But currently the HOD, Dr. Nuku, is busy trying to decide on what needs to be done, because what is clearly possible to us is that the department will need to go to that community, humble itself, and ask those learners to be taken out of that environment. But the problem is that they are in Mthatha. The only adjacent school to them will be a school that is in East London and a school that is also on the side of Alfred Johnson.
Ms. Mboxela, let me ask you the question as to how long ago did the department become aware of the deteriorating conditions of that school? Had the department been updated? Was someone monitoring what is the state and condition of that school, given the children that are being helped there?
Mm-hmm. No, Xoli, we have been knowing the state of that school, and we have been paying rent there in that school so that the owners of that school can upgrade the school. And as I've raised that, we know all our schools in the province, and we've got schools that are of state of the art in terms of what needs to be for learners that have got challenges.
Yeah, but Ms. Mboxela, let me interrupt you. I'm sorry, because of time constraints. When you say that you have been aware of the problems at that school, or you've been aware of the conditions at the school, I'm looking for a time period. How long ago did you become aware that the school is not fit for children with special needs?
The existence of that school has been known by the department by the fact that we rent every quarter it therefore means that we've been knowing that there's money that is going to that school. And what has always been an obligation of the people that are custodian of that school was to upgrade it. And by the look of things, it seems as if it's clearly not easy for them to do that. Hence the contemplation by the department to take those learners out. The fact that there's a school that is called Ikhwezi Lokusa, it therefore means that since its own inception has been known by government, but the state of deterioration has always been known that it is the responsibility of the owners of that school, because that is a school that is in a private residence. It's a school where it existed. There are also community members that are staying around. So it's not an easy thing to quickly do it, because if we are to do that, we must know that we're doing it with the money of government and we must be able to account for it. That is why the instant contemplation of government is to take the learners out of that environment so that the owner of that building is left with the building.
Ms. Mboxela, I've got to challenge you here. You're saying that the owner of the property is the custodian of the premises. I put it to you that the education department, wherever you go in the country, that is the custodian of education in South Africa. The fact that you have been paying monthly rentals to that school or to whoever the owner is, it talks to your lack of care. Because had you known that the conditions are no longer fit for children with special needs, you wouldn't have paid over their rental. Instead, you would have been saying that until you fix the conditions here, we are not going to subject our children to this. In the meantime, while you fix that, let's move them out so that they are in an environment that is fit for children. I mean, you possibly will know this better than I. The series of investigations that have been done by carte blanche, children who are completely naked in the winter period and they are moving unattended, some of them on feces. This is the condition, this is the kind of care that the government will do or will give to children who are like that. What kind of care is that?
No, I wouldn't say that this is how those learners deserved to be treated by the department. I wouldn't really say that as you are explaining it, Mr. Mngambi. And I would just say that that is why it has been put before the head of the department to take an instant decision. But let me come to the point that which you're raising, that they should have been taken out of that institution. It's not an easy thing to take learners out of their own well-known community, because you go consult with the parents, and parents will then tell you that they don't want their kids to move out of an area where they are.
But was that ever done, though? Was that ever done, Ms. Mboxela?
Yes, it was.
The consultations?
There was a process to move them out of that community, and the parents, because of what they would financially incur to go and check their kids, they then opted for something different, which was to say that government must build a school there, which is not an easy thing to do, because when you build a school, you must know you're building a school that is going to be legally yours. And that's why I'm saying that what is before the department currently is that the option that we're really left with is that those learners must be taken out of that institution, because we do have our own institutions across the province. But what has always been the issue is that the distance that parents will take to go and see their children will be a financial strain to them. And that is why now it has to be put before the department and also the legal side of government, because if we are to buy that land, we must know that we will be buying an institution that currently is also in a fight, because there is a claim between the Catholic Church and the people of Tabas in relation to that property. So it's not an easy thing, Xoli, and I must say that for the state of that school to be where it is not because there was a deliberate attack to those learners and their own parents. It's just that there are reality issues that are before us, which we can't instantly resolve. Because I'm just making an example, which is factual. To erect beds there, take all of those that are there, you need a 16 million. And if you are going to use a public purse, a 16 million, without you knowing that this is your property, it can be seen as a fruitless expenditure and it will be interpreted differently. And it's a school that is operating differently because it's a school that adjacent to it, you also have people that are community members staying around because this is a church land. So that is the situation that we are faced with.
Vuyiseka Mboxela, let me thank you very much for your time this morning and at least some hope that help is on its way. There are attempts to move the children out of that environment now.